Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Addison, whatever time you're listening, and thank you for joining us for our ASD Chat for All podcast. We have lots of fun and exciting things on the horizon for Addison School District 4, and this podcast allows us the opportunity to connect with our parents and guardians, families, and community to celebrate our students, their accomplishments, and so much more. Your hosts for this podcast are ASD4 Superintendent Dr. Nick Sutton and myself, Dean Constantopoulos. You interested in hearing more about what's going on in District 4? Come on in and have a chat. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for joining us for another episode of our ASD Chat for All podcast. My name is Dean Constantopoulos. I'll be one of your hosts, and I'm joined with my co-host, Dr. Nick Sutton. Nick, how you doing today?
I'm good. There's a positive vibe. There's a positive vibe with our two guests. Like I'm
feeling it.
A nervous excitement. I like it. It's resonating.
That's right.
It's resonating. Right. I can feel it.
And you know what? Let's just hop right in and introduce them. So today we have Marypat Hradecky. I'm sorry if I'm butchering last names.
Hradecky. Silent H.
Thank you.
No problem.
And then Sharon Achtien.
Achtien, yeah.
Achtien. Thank you both so much for joining us. I should not be the one butchering last names, considering my last name is super long. So I apologize for that. But
no worries.
How are you both doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. It's getting close to fall. I'm ready for hoodie and sweater
I agree.
weather.
Yes.
I concur.
100% with that. Yeah. So you know what? We'll hop right in and just ask you our first question here. So we are familiar with who you are, but for anybody listening who may not know the two of you, tell us who you are, your roles here in the district, how long you've been in the district, that sort of thing.
All right. Well, like you said, I am Marypat Hradecky. I am entering my 20th year in District 4. I started out in mainly 4th grade at Lake Park Elementary School, and then was really hungering for something new and different, and this position came up, and that was 9 years ago. So I've been at several different schools: Lincoln, Wesley, Stone. I feel like I'm missing one. But I am full-time at Stone now as the computer technology teacher.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you.
And I'm Sharon Achtien, and this is my 23rd year. And like Marypat, I also started in the classroom in this district, approximately, just a few years ago. And same thing, I taught first grade, second grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and have been to quite a few buildings.
Gotcha.
Stone, Wesley, Lake Park, Ardmore, dabbled a few places.
So you've really had your lay of the land, both of you, in terms of ASD4, all the different schools, and teaching in all the different schools, too. That's awesome. Very cool.
It's interesting when you get on the topic of technology, because I remember, much like I have a feeling you guys did, when it was like you're doing technology or you're doing computers, and now it's almost like this expectation. It should just be this ubiquitous resource that you just use as needed. So it's like, how have you kind of seen that evolution firsthand? Like, I'll put it this way. I can remember when I used to interview teachers when I was a principal to hire, and I would ask, are you good with technology? And now it's to the point of, I don't ask, because it's just an unspoken expectation. How have you guys evolved with that as technology teachers?
I mean, that's a great question. I think Sharon and I, we both bring two different perspectives and maybe different passions. For me, one of my passions is definitely the social media part of it.
Nice.
Because when we grew up, I had one computer in my whole school as an elementary school. And so I have found, and Sharon has more years on me in the district. Believe it or not, I'm a career changer, so I'm a couple years older. But I have found that so many of my friends freak out about social media.
Yep.
And absolutely, there's dangers, there are pitfalls. It can be scary, but they're freaking out because we didn't have it. So I am very passionate about teaching parents and students the pitfalls and the challenges, but also there's so much goodness.
Yeah.
The potential.
So much
Well
goodness
said.
and so much potential. And then I think, Sharon, too, like what I found and I love as a specials teacher is, as a 4th grade teacher, my kids were gone in 2 years. We see these kids grow from kindergarten through 5th grade.
Yeah.
So the trust that they develop, I feel, with us to teach us. I mean, there are things that even my girls who are older that they'll say, oh, I was talking to a stranger on Roblox, right? So the education goes both ways. So Sharon, I don't know how you've seen it evolved. I just get really passionate about that.
Well, and kind of to piggyback off of this last part that you just mentioned, one of my kind of passions and interests with technology is the kids know as much as we do a lot of times.
Well said.
Besides the fact that we are teaching them about digital citizenship and being respectful, responsible citizens in real life, but also online. I feel like they have so much to share with each other and to teach us that a lot of times I see our role as changing as the facilitator. A lot of times, we're all working together on different topics and subject matter. So
it's so interesting that you say that, because it's almost like, I remember there used to be like etiquette classes and stuff, like etiquette for eating properly at the dinner table or something like that. And now we're branching into this etiquette for online, ways to treat other people on social media. So I love that. Thank you for being part of the effort that teaches our kids that. So now, talking about working together, the two of you do seem to get along pretty well, which is awesome. So like that makes me believe that the whole technology and computer department here at ASD4 is collaborative, and they work really well together. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about your time working together. Let's see, what kind of got you guys into this direction of, now we're going to start focusing a little bit more on STEM and on technology-based instruction, that sort of thing.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because we were talking before we met today about just our team, and we kind of coined ourselves the Dream Team.
Awesome.
So we wanted to give them a little shout out.
Love it.
Hashtag Dream Team.
Love it.
But we do have a really good relationship, and many of us have worked together in the classroom setting before a lot of us switched over to the computer technology role.
Yeah.
And a lot of it did start at Lake Park, so we kind of had trust with each other before that. But going along with the STEAM and STEM, we've been lucky enough that Katie and Kim and now Teresa have all been supportive of our roles and expanding what we do to not only just digital citizenship and that piece, but also to include robotics and coding, and now we have the new Lego edition. So
cool.
Our role is constantly evolving, kind of like technology. So
yeah, and like Sharon said, we are fortunate because we have such a strong team and a collaborative team. We all have different gifts and different strengths that we can bring, and you're never without somebody having your back, which is awesome.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right, Dream Team. So what are you guys most excited about? So if there's a parent out there listening and you're like, what is one takeaway that you want them to remember? What should they be most excited about in terms of STEM and technology that you guys are like, wait till we do this activity in our class?
That's a tricky one.
The Legos, I mean, for sure. And shout out to Carrie also with that. The Legos are going to be exciting. What we talked about with the kids is challenges and overcoming challenges. So we know that as educators it's going to be a challenge, but the kids are going to be super excited about that. So I would say the Legos for sure. And then for me, just having the discussions and sharing technology with the kids. So if they're on an app, the parent needs to be on it.
Right.
If they're, I mean, not that we need to see, my daughter would not want to see me TikToking, but we need to be aware we can't bury our heads in the sand. So it's not all just technology, curriculum based, but just have those discussions.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think a big takeaway for parents is, like you said, to be involved. If just even with like their same thing with their education, not just social media. Like if you don't show that it's important, they're going to get that feeling. And I even noticed with my own son, who's a 7th grader, we go to curriculum night, we go to open house, we are involved in things that are happening in school just like they should be. And they need to show an interest and be invested and care about their learning. And if we do that, model it for them, I feel like they take that on too.
Well, and one other thing to jump into, which I struggle with a 13-year-old, is also put down the device.
Yes.
In the car, the best discussions is put down the device or close the Chromebook, read a real book. You have to have balance. Well, and a lot of adults can be faulted for that too.
I was just going to say, I mean, I'm guilty of that as well. I'll get home and sometimes you're tired and you could be doing something productive, but then you pull out your phone and you're scrolling on something for hours, so that's a really good point. So thank you for saying that. So last question for you both. let's just say we've got a parent who is really excited to learn more about what's going on with technology here at the district, or with STEM or STEAM at the district. What is the best way that they could reach out to both of you?
You can email us, so it'd be sachtien@asd4.org, or on Twitter, it's Achtien LRC. So that's 2 great ways to reach out to me.
And Sharon also is at Wesley, so if you don't have your notes to write down names, you can look on the website as well. Marypat Hradecky at Stone. I won't bother spelling it for you right now. It's not as rough as Dean's name. And it's at Rad, Hrad LRC. And I know we're going to continue to reach out when we often have open houses, things like that. Just get involved and feel free to always ask questions.
Love that.
That's awesome. So, Dean, if anybody wanted to reach out to you to talk about technology, the district, or just hard to spell last names, what is the easiest way to reach out to you?
You can reach out to me. I definitely will not use my last name as my Twitter handle, but it's going to be on Twitter at Addison SD4. Nick, same question for you.
I'm always lurking around Twitter. At Dr. Nick Sutton is a good place to find me.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Tons
having
of
us.
great
Thank
information. And for everybody listening, stay tuned for next time. Thank you for tuning in to our ASD Chat for All podcast. Check us out at www.asd4.org, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts for more. We'll be back soon with another episode, so stay tuned.